with the choice each new day brings. With every step you take, bless the progress that you make. The reason you live is there in every gift you give. Love your life and love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. All the places you will go and the people you will know. Don't worry when or where or how. You don't have to know that now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes, take a breath and smile. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes, take a breath and smile. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Happy Sunday.
What a perfect song to start the year with. Thank you, Rhonda Dene. Oh my goodness gracious. So today, some of you remember these. We did scrolls last week and people wrote down things that they had, that they would love for the new year or an intention they have. So some of you were not here, and so we have an opportunity for you to write down and for us to add the scrolls. I'll give them to you. I forgot to put the pens out, but they're somewhere. If somebody has a pen, you can share. So just think about what it is that you would love to experience in 2025. First, part 1 is for yourself. Part 2 is for the world. So that we'll add your scroll, because I am treating for every person that wrote something down, there's about 30 of you, the whole month. So we're going to talk about now how to make those things real today as we step into a whole new year. So there's a brand new theme as well. We are participating in the Centers for Spiritual Living global theme, which is rising higher, growing deeper, and for January, it's stretch into possibility. So a new year, a new theme every month, a new time, a new beginning. And so the topic today is new thought, not just having a new thought ourselves, but being part of a teaching in an organization called New Thought, which is really ancient wisdom. And then a new year, and that means a new you, because nothing ever stays the same. Everything is always changing. So I am Frankie Timmers, and I'm grateful to be here with you today. And welcome to those of you who are on our live stream, which appears to be only YouTube today for some reason. So we will fix that to the best of our ability with all the beautiful volunteers that we have for our IT department. And I love this time of year, and we're doing something a little different, because usually we talk about the first 4 chapters of the Science of Mind textbook, which is going back to the basics, but we will bring that in this year, or this month. And we're blessed to have Rhonda Dene as our music, and Hannah Grodkowski brought some delicious treat for our social hour. So we're going to explore this idea of, now that I have an intention for the year, what am I going to do with that? The most important thing that you're going to hear me talk about today is giving it our attention. And then to realize how miraculous we are and how miraculous these intentions really are when we think about it. And then the invitation is to go slow, because I have never met anybody in my 67.5 years of life that had a resolution and completed it throughout the end of the year. Have you met anybody that had a resolution and they kept at it all year and they fulfilled it? Yes, a few nods, right? But there's something different that happens when we have an intention, and we'll talk a little bit about the difference. And so we celebrate this idea that we don't have to do it all today, that we can take little steps, that we can do one thing every day, whether it's great or small, that guides us in our fulfillment of the intention, knowing that the universe itself is supporting us all the way. So those of you that are new here today, we invite you, first of all, we say welcome to our community. We invite you to take a free book off the shelf, and we invite you to take home a welcome packet. We also are online, which is via our website, www.cslmorristown.org, or on YouTube. We are also on Facebook. So we start now with a little practice that we do every week, and it's our Namaste practice. Namaste is the Sanskrit. It has a meaning that's longer than just one word. That is, the divinity in me sees and blesses the divinity in you. So when we're doing this practice, we're not just giving, we're also receiving. So put your hands together and just bow to somebody and say Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. Namaste.
And let's treat, which is our word for affirmative prayer. And so here we are on this beautiful day that the universe has made for us to embrace, to feel fully alive, to remember that life is an unfolding and an unfurling, and it starts where we are. It starts with who we are right now. And then there's all this movement that is happening that creates our experience and our lives. The beauty of that knowing is that within us is that profound connection with the divine that we get to live And in order for us to live that connection, we get to be more and more and more aware of it. This allows us to experience a dissolving of any kind of limitation that we might be experiencing. So it behooves us to actually see those limitations, those burdens, those challenges, and to use them to expand, to explore, to come to know, to discover, and to reveal more and more the divine presence that is already within us. And so we are truly, truly blessed with each opportunity to know more deeply the truth of our very existence, that is eternal, that is infinite. It's just constantly infused with change. But there is one thing that never changes. That is the breath we breathe, the inspiration we experience, the truth of our knowing that we are spirit incarnate. And so we welcome this new time, this new year, to celebrate our expansion, our unfolding, and our deeper experience of the truth within. And so it is.
And so it is.
So, do we have a few things to talk about? I unfurled each scroll that those of you that were here last week filled out when we did the burning bowl ceremony, where we let go of something that we were ready to release. And then where we embraced a new idea. We welcomed something that we loved. We invited a new way of seeing ourselves and seeing the world. We expressed a new desire for ourselves and for each other. So there's two sides to these, or two parts. And so I took them home, and they've been sitting on my altar, and I've been treating for everybody that was here. And those of you that weren't here, please fill out a little scroll for yourself and give it to me later, and I will add it to the pile. What you're going to write on there is something that you would love to experience in the new year. Something for yourself. And then something you would love for the world. Now, one thing that is truly, truly, truly important is that the moment you write this down, or the moment you wrote it down, it was already happening. Do you get that? That the moment you speak your word, the moment you wrote down those words, it was already happening, because that's how the universal law works. The moment we speak the word, we write the word, we say the word, we think the word, the universal law backs it up. We don't always realize that. We don't think about that a whole lot at times. Maybe some of you do, but I forget about it. So it was a very long list of things that were on there, and I kind of made a list, and I love that there were so many of them, some of them double, triple, quadruple, and some of them were so recognizable by what humanity wants. What do you think people wrote down on what they would love for themselves this year? Guesses.
Health. Health.
Health.
Peace.
Peace. Joy.
Prosperity.
Prosperity.
Contribute to humanity.
Contributing to humanity.
Less worry.
Less worry.
Connection.
And what does that mean? Instead of less, what you don't want, what does that want then you want instead?
Peace of mind.
Confidence? Yeah, see, right? We want to focus on what we want to experience rather than what we don't want to experience, because it's still giving it energy, right? Yes, so confidence. So yes, those were all on there. How interesting. Because in a way, what human beings want and what humanity wants is pretty similar. There's not a lot of diversity in that. Harmony, peace, love, gratitude, prosperity, health, all those things. Understanding, deeper understanding. And so these are really close to my heart for the whole month, and more to come, those of you that are still going to write one down. And I will be treating for that. But you have a part in this too. And I want to talk about that because that's this idea of rising higher, the theme for the year, and growing deeper. They're not separate. They are deeply and profoundly connected because they really reflect our inner work. And so the stretching part is about holding that intention of what it is that we would love for the year very close to our heart. And to not just hold it close to our heart, but to truly realize that that's where you're going. Your intention is your compass. Your intention is your North Star. Your intention is the destination on your GPS, your God system. GPS, God power system, right? And so we then use that to ask ourselves regularly, I would hope every day, I would say every day, in regards to our intention, what is mine to do? What is mine to be? What is mine to heal? What is mine to let go of? What is mine to embrace? Because the intention itself will tell you when you listen. So, for example, if you wrote down that all you want for yourself is peace and all you want for the world is peace, peace becomes your North Star. Peace becomes your GPS. And then you begin to notice what gets in the way. And then you begin to notice when you take a wrong turn and you need to do a U-turn to get back on track. And that is your inner guidance. That is just telling you what's in the way, and what's in the way is what you're ready to let go of. Otherwise, your intention would not be your intention. Does that make sense? So if you say, well, my intention is peace, anything that doesn't feel like peace in your heart or that you notice in the world is yours to work through, to release, to accept, to surrender, to explore, to think about, to treat on, to meditate on, until you feel that shift and you say, yes, I do feel more peace. I am more peaceful. I do notice a little more peace in the world. And so holding that close becomes not just the gift and the blessing, but it becomes the guide and the practice. Because that's where the attention comes in. We pay attention. We remember what we wrote down, what our intention is for the year, and we pay attention to how it's happening, when it's not happening, what gets in the way, what is there to be released, to resolve, to heal, to change, to challenge, to maybe journal about, maybe to visit a practitioner for. All that then becomes information. So it requires a deeper listening, a deeper noticing, and that's where this idea of reaching higher, growing deeper comes in as the theme for the whole year. So in a way, you must know that what you wrote down or what your intention is for the year is already assured. It's already a done deal. It's already happening. And the question then is, only I get in the way. And how do I get in the way? And how can I be more patient and gentle with myself? Because stuff is going to get in the way, guaranteed. Almost guaranteed. And so the idea then is to realize that practice, that whole process is what's making you new. It's embracing a new thought principle, which is just ancient wisdom refined. And to realize that in this new year, you are already becoming new. So this year, the book for the year is Emergent Strategy by Adrienne Maree Brown. And And I purchased it a few months ago and forgot I purchased it. It's kind of how I am with books. I'm just a book slut. I admit it. And I started reading it over the last week, and I'm really pretty blown away, not to mention I'm kind of in love with this woman because she's just amazing. And as I was reading it, I realized that what it talks about is exactly what I'm talking about today. This idea that it's a new moment, a new experience, something new is happening, a healing is happening. We are revealing more of our true self. In the introduction, she says these two things that I love. Here you are, in the cycle between the past and the future, choosing to spend your miraculous time in the exploration of how humans, especially those seeking to grow liberation and justice, can learn from the world around us how to best collaborate, how to shape change. A little further down, she says, and this is only the first page, the world is full of beauty, magic, miracles, and patterns that induce wonder. This book is a collection of essays, speeches, spells, interviews, conversations, tools, profiles, and poems, sharing my learning process in the face of that wonder. You are basically holding a book of me saying, wow, everything is so amazing. Or, that's not wow. Why not go with the wow opinion? Emergence is one of the best concepts I have learned for discussing this wow, this wonder. Emergence is the way complex systems and patterns arise out of a multiplicity of relatively simple instructions. It's another way of speaking about the connective tissue of all that exists. The way, the Tao, the force, change, God, goddess, life, birds flocking, cells splitting, fungi whispering underground. And it just invites us to look at life and to look at the world with more awe, more wonder, and realizing that everything in life is a miracle. Everything. It's all a miracle. So just think about it. Just think how your intention, the thing that you wrote down, is miraculous. It was your thought. It was your desire. It is what you longed for the most. A week ago, you gave it thought. You reflected. We did a celebration around it. We did a burning bowl first. We did a spiritual practice around it. And all that was miraculous. It was a moment of being in community, even today, if you're writing it down today. It was a moment of reflection. It was a moment of listening to your heart of hearts and saying, this is what I would love. That is miraculous. Wow. Whoever thought that you could want something so much and that you're willing to believe, or you're fully believing that it's something that can manifest by means of your own consciousness. That's new thought. It's ancient wisdom, but it's new thought at the same time. That's miraculous. So your intention then is about your awakening. Your intention for this year is about your expansion, your evolution, your growth, your healing, your awakening. That's miraculous. Not to mention that you are a miracle. Just think for a minute. There was a seed and an egg that got together and it made you. How could we ever forget that that's not a miracle? Regardless of how it happened. Some of you might have happened in a petri dish. I don't know. It doesn't matter what happened after that. The interesting thing is we make that matter so much more than the fact that it's a miracle that you're a human being in this world, that you came out of somebody's vagina or belly or wherever, and there you were. And you're still here at the age that you are. You survived so far with all the crap that's going on in the world and maybe in your life. Because none of us are going to get out of here unscathed. Because on a spiritual perspective, it is all for us. It is all for our evolution and for our growth. How come we forget that we are a miracle? How come we forget that life is a miracle? Just think of the thing you were complaining about when you woke up this morning. Nobody here, maybe. Maybe it's the wrong question. Just think about that thing you were complaining about this morning or this week. What a waste of a miracle. What a waste of a spiritual life. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or judging it. I'm just making a point, right? Because that's how I speak to myself. I wake up in the morning and I say, oh, my feet hurt today, or I'm tired. But very quickly, I take a breath and I pause and I go, wait, I'm a miracle. It's actually miraculous that I woke up this morning. That's how my day starts. That's my spiritual practice. To just slip into gratitude, not to ignore the stuff that's challenging and difficult, because we all have that, but to remember to be in awe and wonder of so many things that are presented to us with every breath, every single day, all the time, and to say, that's where I have my attention, and I shall forgive myself all the gazillion times that I forget. But just to remember that we are a miracle and that everything else that comes with it doesn't really matter. Is it grist for the mill? Absolutely. Is it sometimes the reason you don't want to live or don't want to get up in the morning? Yes. But none of that matters if we keep coming back to the miraculousness of life itself. This morning, there was a stink bug in my room. I'm like, what are you doing here? I told you, you are not welcome in the house. So don't come here, because you know what I'm going to do. I already told you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a piece of toilet paper and flush you down the toilet. There you go. But it's miraculous, because I have no idea how it got inside the house. How did it survive a 20-degree temperature outside? It's still miraculous. And it's miraculous that I don't smell stink bugs. I don't know what they smell like, but I don't smell them. And so, can we live that way? Yes, and when we live that way, life is completely different than when we focus on what's missing or what isn't working. Because the more attention we give that, the more it is our experience. New thought. My teacher used to say, have you had a new thought lately? And so we remember that's where we're heading. And in case you can't, in case you won't, which is the same thing, by the way, in case it's difficult right now, in case you forget more than you remember, please know that I know it. I see it. I feel it. It's my everyday prayer, especially this month. I know it's possible what you wrote down, even though I don't know what you wrote down, because there were no names on the papers. I know it's real. I know it's possible. I know it's already happening. And I know that it's possible for each and every one of you with 100% assurity. And And so the invitation then is to remember that it's all a soul thing. As some of my teachers have said, you don't have a soul, you are a soul. Big difference, right? Because we think we're a spiritual being, that we have a human experience, and we use that, or a human being having a spiritual experience. But the thing is that you are a soul having a human experience. You don't just have a soul. It's not like, where's my soul? Oh, some people say it's in my liver. Some people say it's in my heart. Some people say it's in my brain. Well, that's because you don't just have a soul and it doesn't hang out somewhere. That's who you are. That's your essential nature. Your spirit in a physical form. And the physical form ain't always easy. But it's the vehicle. So then everything we experience as human beings becomes a portal to the awakening that we are a soul, that we're spiritual beings, and that all of those things that happen are just the ways that we are being gotten our attention. And so the more we realize that that in itself is miraculous, because your soul decided to incarnate on this planet now, not in the 1700s or in the 5000s, decided to incarnate as who you are, not somebody else. There's no mistakes. And so that awareness is about our spiritual life. And that's why we're here together, because spiritual life is so meaningful to us. And so we look at life with this sense of awe and wonder about who we are becoming. We look at life and the miraculousness of having an intention, and we make a commitment to keep our attention on that intention, knowing that as we are on the way to demonstrating that intention, healing is happening, which means that there's a little letting go, and that we're using these spiritual principles that are so crystal clear and so available for us to practice. Because see, the thing is, you might want to write something down and think, oh, that's it, I'm going to forget about it now. No, it requires your attention. And that in itself is the spiritual practice. So the invitation is to do something every day, to do one thing every day that supports that intention, because your action is required to support that intention, to have it be a demonstration as you go through the year, at least by the end of the year. So I read a saying by Dame Maggie Smith. Does everybody know Maggie Smith, the actress? She just passed away at 90. She said, ask yourself about the kind of life you want. What would you do day to day? And with whom? And where? Consider the life you have. Do one thing today, however small, to close the gap between the two. To close the gap between the two. So do that one thing with love. Do it with love. With so much love, because you're the miracle. And you remember you're the miracle. Maybe it starts with a hope, a prayer, a breath, a movement, a request for prayer from someone else, help. There's so many things. When we listen, we get quiet, and we ask for guidance, or we ask the intention itself. What is mine to do today? You listen long enough, the answer always comes. And you'll have an epiphany. How many of you were raised Catholic or Christian? What's tomorrow? Epiphany!
Yes.
Epiphany, you know, when we were kids, Epiphany was a big deal. I was raised Catholic. We got to dress up as kings. And we would go door to door with a basket for candies, unlike Halloween. And we would have a musical instruments, and one was, my dad would make this, it was a paint can, because he was a painter, we had plenty of those, with some kind of pigskin over it, and it had a bamboo stick in it that was attached with a rubber band, and you do this thing, and it makes a noise that's really cool. It makes it like a drum type sound. And we go door to door, and we would get candies, like you do at Halloween. And my mother would make the best vanilla pudding, and inside the vanilla pudding was a bean.
A bean.
A bean, what did you say? A candy, yes, a bean. And with 9 of us kids and my parents, 11 of us, whoever got the bean got to be king or queen for the day.
Oh, wow.
We'd get a crown, we would have a chair at the head of the table that was all decorated, and we got to pick what we wanted for dinner the next day. Or that day, I don't remember. And I always picked French fries. Because my mother would literally peel pounds and pounds and pounds of potatoes, cut them on this little machine by hand, go to the garage and fry them twice in the biggest pan with a gas thing underneath. She smelled like grease for days. But we ate fries until they came out of every orifice in the bottom. With mayonnaise. Ketchup was not a thing. That's why I still love that. And so Three Kings Epiphany was a really big day. But the beautiful spiritual meaning behind Epiphany is so powerful. There were the 3 magi. They were magicians, astrologers, wise men, sheikhs, kings. And they saw a star, and they decided, based on their intuition, to follow that star. And they traveled far and wide, and when the star stopped, they looked down, and there was the baby Jesus. Because they were intuitively guided to a big shift in consciousness that was the shift in consciousness from law to love. Because that's the metaphysical meaning of the baby Jesus. A consciousness of divine love. The end of a time of divine law to divine love. He was the messenger of love. And has been for over 2,000 years, whatever anyone believes. That's a powerful story because they intuitively knew where to go to arrive at and to bless the coming of a whole new era, which was the era of divine love, with Jesus as the messenger. And so that's the invitation for Epiphany. It's to know that we're always moving between law and love. Law is just the way the universe works. And love is what makes it possible, is the divine givingness. Love is the manifestation of your intention. And the manifestation of your intention can only happen through love. And so it's important for us to infuse who we are, what we do, what our intention is, whether it's for today or for the whole year, with love. That means everything else has to be dissolved or healed. And it's a lifetime we've been given for it. And it's not about right or wrong, good or bad, perfect or not perfect. It's just staying in the practice. And that means that as we stay in the practice, we manifest, we reveal, we show forth, because that's what Epiphany really means. Epiphany means reveal, resolve, unveil, show, experience. It's recognizing that each of us are the expression of divine love, that you and I are divine love made manifest. You and I are divine love made manifest. So when you forget, do one thing. Just one thing. One little thing. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be all day. Just one thing in that moment that is your attention to your intention. Knowing that you and I are always birthing the Christ consciousness, because that's really what Christmas is about. It's not just about the birth of Jesus in our teaching, it's the expression, the birth of the Christ consciousness, which is happening all the time, which is the expression of our divinity. And as we do, we let go of what's in the way. And that when you forget that one thing, just make sure that you are forgiving, and that you're kind, and that you're compassionate, and that you know that there is no limit to how many times you can start again. Because that's not the kind of God we believe in, nor is it something that works. Imagine that when you were a kid and you were learning to walk, you tried once and your parents said, well, that's it, we're not doing that again. You're useless, you're a failure. No, they kept going until we were able to walk, and then it was, yay, right? So we give ourselves permission that it's okay to forget. It's okay to lose faith. It's okay to not do it perfectly. Just keep going back to remembering your intention, to give it attention, to listen for inner guidance to what you need, what it needs for you to fulfill it. And then have faith and trust that it is to be fulfilled. And so it is.
So it is.
Rhonda! And those of you that were in here last week, have the papers go around, and if you need a pen, let us know.
This song is called Butterflies. It's taking that intention and putting it out into the world. I got up looking into the sunrise of my life. My wildest dreams run like horses before me, daring me to take a ride, begging me to be free. I got a pocket full of butterflies, a handful of dreams. I'm gonna make a wish and let 'em fly, realize all I can be. I've opened my eyes and stepped up to the edge of my reality. Possibilities fall like raindrops on me, covering my soul in joy, pushing me to succeed. I got a pocket full of butterflies, a handful of
celebration. So talented. All right, so I want to start with a little spiritual practice. So I want you to place your hands on your heart and close your eyes if that's available to you, comfortable to you. If that's not comfortable, you can just do a soft gaze. And then just take a few deep breaths just to feel yourself be fully present in your body. Once we are fully present in the body, just the mind and the heart just follows. And see if you can feel the miraculousness of you. And notice what arrives in your mind. Maybe it's the miraculousness of your breath, or your heartbeat, or the ability to close your eyes or have a soft gaze. The miraculousness of where you are today. And just for a moment, let everything that doesn't seem or feel miraculous just fall away, knowing you can pick it back up later if you want to. And be willing to accept or fully accept that you are whole, perfect, and complete exactly the way you are right now. And if there is a little voice that says, yeah, but, or not yet, or if only, welcome that, because that's the way in to your wholeness, your completeness, and your divine perfection. Whether you're able to release it right now, or willing to work on it, or willing to pray about it, or willing to visit a practitioner because of it, or a therapist, all that. It's all good, because that is the portal, the avenue through which you will remember your inherent wholeness. That's why it's miraculous too. So see if there's one thing that you have not been able to accept, welcome, or love about yourself, that you can place in your heart and welcome as a blessed guest that is there for you and for your healing, for your awakening. And then see if you can bring your attention to the love instead of the judgment or the criticism or avoidance or denial. Because all of you is a miracle, not just some of you, all of it. And so be willing to go, wow. Wow, you? And set an intention to be patient and forgiving with the part of you that has forgotten. And slowly bring your attention back. When you're ready, Open your eyes. So those of you that did not write an intention last week, just give me if you want to add to the pile. Because I'm going to keep treating this month for you. I have a few announcements. I invite everybody to go over here and take some flyers with you and post them where you think appropriate, especially about the next concert we are having on January 25th. Thank you, Kathy, for making that happen. It's going to be with Christine De Leon and Frank and Hank that we've had here before. It's a concert. It's going to be next door. This is a fundraiser for the center. So come, bring a friend or a few friends, or tell a friend about it, or hang it at your local grocery store, or wherever you think people will see it, because it would be wonderful to fill that whole space. Be sure to get your tickets in advance. There is a Breeze link at the bottom where you can get your tickets. And then on January 19th, we have our next community meeting. Those of you that don't know, I think most of you know, my last Sunday here is March 2nd, and March 6th is a big party. Flyers over there. Get your tickets at Hills of Herat in Baskin Ridge. So join us for that as well. And it's a community meeting because some wonderful things are already happening. The community started meeting this last year. Reverend Janice and the Leadership Council is leading it, and some really great things are already happening. This community is not about me. It's about the teaching, and it's about you. And so together, you get to create the next chapter in the 65+ year history of Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. And I'm excited for all of you. And then we have a discovery class, the last discovery class that I'll be teaching for anybody that's curious about or interested in becoming a member. That happens on January 29th. And then we have another member acceptance in February. And that's going to be really fun because we have a bunch of new members in our community. And then on February 2nd, we have another, I was going to say snow bath with Kat. Sound bath with Kat. The snow date is 2 weeks later. So please take flyers with you and hang them up. And today, let's do a special thank you to Hannah, who is facilitating our social hour. She's a very yummy cook and food person, so. And thank you to everybody helping make that happen. And also, I want to acknowledge that we have a birthday girl in our midst. Tomorrow is Christy's birthday. And we're going to sing for her during social hour. So, you're here because you received so much. And we're so glad that we can be here for you to be on the receiving end of all that we give and all that we do. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm receiving, I want to give back. So this is an opportunity for you to give back. There are no expectations at all. It has to come from the fullness of your own heart. So you can give today of your financial support. You can use your phone to go to Venmo or PayPal. You can go to our website. There's lots of ways to give. And many of you volunteer and serve. But I don't know about you, but I've never been able to pay my bills when I volunteer. So there's a financial exchange that happens. And so we always welcome your support. So let's have the basket go around. If you're not giving today, just bless the abundance in our spiritual community. Let's do an affirmation. So repeat after me. Divine love consecrates my gift.
Divine love consecrates my gift.
It goes forth forth to heal, prosper, and to bless.
It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless.
It returns to me multiplied abundantly.
It returns to me multiplied abundantly.
As I share my good,
As I share my good,
I accept my greater good.
I accept my greater good.
And so it is.
And so it is.
All right. Let me do a closing treatment, and then I'll have you do another song. Let's do a closing healing treatment. So a healing treatment really is just a reminder. I know you already know this, but spiritual mind treatment is a very powerful tool. It's an affirmative prayer. And I don't know what everybody thinks about prayer or how they feel about prayer, but the way I feel about our kind of prayer, spiritual mind treatment, is to really speak something into being. And then we let go. That's why we say, and so it is. Sounds like a really fun thing to say together, and so, but it's a powerful thing, and so it is. In Persia, it's abracadabra. Did you know that abracadabra means, and so it is?
Wow.
Abracadabra. So, yes, isn't that great? So, and so it is how we then say, okay, cool, I accept it in my consciousness. I don't have to make it happen. The universal law that works through me makes it happen, which is so awesome. So I want you to hear this healing treatment in a different way, in a new way, because the topic today was new thought, a new year, new you. And so there's lots of practices, but my go-to is always spiritual mind treatment. So let's know together that we are a living miracle, because this miracle is living us. There's no separation. There's only the one thing happening, the one life, the one love, the one truth, the one God by its many names. And so each of us, right here and right now, accepts this truth in a new way. We feel a new connection, like some wiring is being reorganized, and there's a new connection, and it just brings us to that feeling of going higher and going deeper at the same time, knowing that we are in the center of it, that all activity is activity in consciousness first, and that it is love, divine love, that is ever flowing through us that makes it possible. And so with this willingness to know this truth and to fully accept it in our heart, mind, body, and soul means that we begin to see life as a miracle. Not just some of it, it's not the either or, it's the both and experience of the emergent strategy that we learned about today from the Book of the Year. And so today we can trust a little bit more. We can open our hearts a little bit more. We can open our minds a little bit more to the activity of Spirit itself in and through us for the highest and best as we move through a new year, which our soul doesn't really know a thing about because it doesn't know time in the way that we know time. And so we can trust our soul's experience of evolution, of opening, of deepening, and we can embrace all of life, trust all of life, and realize that when we're bumping into a wall, that it's just our opportunity to know that it can dissolve by means of our faith and trust, and that the wall itself is just another portal. It just has another door, and we can step through it knowing that in our essential nature, we are whole, perfect, and complete exactly the way we are, and that life is given to us so that we can see that more clearly. If there's anything in the way, right now, we can allow Spirit, the universal law, to dissolve it. We can choose to let it go, and we can even trust that as part of our awakening. And so what's left then is to be in awe and gratitude for the beautiful life that we've been given, the beautiful gifts that are ever available, and the awesome growth we have already experienced and the miraculousness that is assisting us into our next yet best to be. And abracadabra, and so it is.
So it is.
There are things that I prefer, and there are things that I don't. There are dreams that I've pursued, and dreams that I won't. No matter what perspective brings, there's a question that remains. Am I willing? Love is listening. Am I willing? The law is ready. Am I willing to allow the good in my life? I can choose to be a victim of any circumstance. I can choose to be a victor and burst out in a colorful dance. No matter what appears to be, that question still remains. Am I willing? Love is listening. Am I willing? The law is ready. Am I willing to allow the joy in my life? There is good all around, and it's there for the taking. So step into your birthright with the choices that you're making. I am willing. I'm willing to be open. I am willing. I'm willing to receive. I am willing to accept the good in my life. I am willing. Oh yes, I'm open. I am willing. I'm open to receive. I am willing to allow the joy